What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another daily deck video, and today we have another one of the Elder Dragons from the upcoming Secrets of Strixhaven. And today is one that made a pretty big splash when it was revealed, but, you know, I'll kind of explain why I think this one's a trap. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. This one's a bit higher budget. I wanted to kind of show off like what these can do at their more powerful forms. I can always do more budget versions of them. In fact, I have a viewer request for a Witherbloom one. But let's head down here, and we have Prismari the Inspiration. Prismari is a 7/7 for 7 mana. Now, unlike Witherbloom, there is no way on the card to make it cheaper. But he has Flying, Ward, pay 5 life, which essentially doesn't even have to say Ward in Commander, and then instant and sorcery spells you cast have Storm. So he's a Storm Commander, but he costs 7, and that's why I say he's a trap, because we are going to have to spend significant resources to get Prismari into play, which are valuable slots that are taken away from what we actually want to do, which is play a bunch of stupid spells before brain freezing our opponents into oblivion. So, how are we going to function today? Well, we're going to try to use a bunch of little dirtily draw spells to build up our storm count. And then we do have an infinite mana combo in here, a classic one, if you will. And then we're going to want to Brain Freeze and Mind's Desire to play spells. And then hopefully, like I said, Brain Freeze. But let's get into it, shall we? For creatures, we are only running 12. We want to maximize the amount of spells that we have, so we are minimizing the amount of dudes that we have. But we do have a few that are quite good. We have Ashling the Flame Dancer. You don't lose unspent red mana as steps in phase's end whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell. Discard a card, then draw a card. If this is the second time this happens, then it deals 2 damage to each opponent and each creature they control. If it's the third time, you add 4 red mana. Pretty good. Bergie is also in here. Whenever you cast a spell, add a red mana. Until end of turn, you don't lose that mana. And Electro, you don't lose unspent red mana as steps in phase's end, and whenever you cast an instant spell, add 1 red. It's very important that storm copies are not casting an instant or sorcery, so those will not add on to here. These are here to help you build up mana before you start storming. As for other mana generation creatures, we do have Treasonous Ogre. He has Dethrone, and then he also has pay 3 life, add 1 red mana pool. Life is a resource. Use that resource. We have Stormkiln Artist, which has Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, you make a treasure. This will help also generate you mana to help keep your engine going. And then Vivi Ornithir is actually in here primarily for the generation of mana, and then, you know, the ping is just like a happy little thing along the way. But of course, he has whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you put a 1/1 counter onto Vivi Ornithir and deals 1 damage to each opponent, which can add up over time. And then you can pay 0, add X mana of any combination of blue or red, where X is Vivi's or Ornithir's power. Activate only during your turn and only once each turn. We do have Goblin Electromancer in here to make things cheaper. Yes, I know that Goblin Electromancer isn't considered good by the wider creator community, but we gotta make things a little cheaper. We do have Longshot Rebel Bowman. Makes your non-creature spells cost 1 less, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it deals 2 damage. We have Leer. Spells can't be countered, which is really good. In each instant sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. The flashback cost is equal value. This is really important for later on when we have lots of mana. And the Simian Spirit Guide also just gets... Now, you'll notice this old card in here from the Urza's Legacy, I think is the hammer. Palinchron. Palinchron's a 4/5 for 7. Palinchron has flying, and when Palinchron comes into play, untap up to 7 lands. Palinchron generates infinite mana. Here's how. So, Palinchron comes in, you untap your 7 lands, and then you can return it to your hand for 4, right? Well, if you play this simple little card down here, this one neat little trick, you play High Tide. And in our deck, we are playing 17 islands. So, you play High Tide before you play your Palinchron, makes all your islands tap for an additional red, and then so you tap Or you tap out all your lands, you play or all of your blue lands, you play your Palinchron, bounce it to your hand, you play it again, you untap, and you can generate in mana in manner. So then, what do we do with all of this mana and all of these things that we need to sling spells with? Well, first we have Flame Rift. Flame Rift deals 4 damage to each player. I mean, like, giving this Storm isn't bad. Yes, it shoots you, but also shoots your opponents. Be careful with Treasonous Ogre if you're going to go this route, friends. We have Gitaxian Probe. Look at target player's hand, draw a card. We have Grape Shot, so this is one of our win conditions. It deals 1 damage to any target. It storms. There are lots of ways to storm here. This deck does have Game Changers, so we do have Jeska's Will. You choose one, and if you control your commander, choose both. Add a red mana for each card, or each card in target player's hand, and exile the top 3 cards of your library. You can play them this turn. Mana Geyser, add a red for each tapped land your opponent. This is very important, right? So like these ritual spells like Mana Geyser, like Rite of Flame, and you'll see the other ones below. These also will get Storm under Prismari. So you play a bunch of little dirtle spells like Strike It Rich here, which creates a treasure token, and Gitaxian Probe, right? And then, you know, like, then you cast a Flame Rift, so your Storm counts up to 3, cast a Ponder, your Storm counts up to 4. That's 4. So then you cast Flame Rift, which puts 5, puts a whole bunch of copies of Flame Rift on the stack, adding a whole bunch of red mana. Cast yourself a Jeska's Will, which then adds a ton of mana, whole bunch of copies. You see exponential here. And then Mana Geyser, same thing. And then there's Mind's Desire, which was so strong back in the day that this card was banned in Magic, in Constructed 60 card, which it is for 6, and it says shuffle your library, then exile the top card of your library. Till end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. And then it has Storm, which is when you cast a spell, copy it for each spell cast before it this turn. So say you cast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spells, you would play Mind's Desire, which would give you that copy, plus 7 more copies of Mind's Desire, which you can pay then for, which let you play spells without paying their mana cost, which is really good. Please note that Storm doesn't count towards Storm because it says you had to cast it, and the Storm copies are not cast. Then we have our instants. We are running 26. We have to have lots of spells to build up our Storm count. So we have an Offer You Can't Refuse, an Arcane Denial. These are in here for counter magic. I believe... did I put more? Yes, Swan Song as well. We did put Reb in here and Pyroblast. All of these are designed to help. Oh, we also put Hydroblast in here. And did I put Beb? I did not put... Oh, yeah, I did put Beb in here. Blue Elemental. So we do have ways to counter spells. We have Big Score in here. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards, and create 2 treasure tokens. Arcane Denial, of course, counters a thing. You get to draw a card. The opponent gets to draw 2. Offer You Can't Refuse gives your opponents 2 treasures. Reb is counter a red spell or destroy a red permanent. Brain Freeze is one of our win conditions. It is an instant for 2. It says target player mills 3 cards and it storms. Very simple, very straightforward. Oh yes, we have Big C counter a spell in here as well. We have Crimson Wisps. You might be like, okay, this card does nothing, but it does draw you a card, and if you've built up your Storm count at all, this is a cheap way to not really reduce your mana by that much, while simultaneously drawing you a bunch of cards. Desperate Ritual, another one. Ritual cards that you want to add to your Storm stack. Dramatic Reversal, untap all non-permanents you control. Frantic Search, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Untap 3 lands. We have a Galvanic Inclination. Whenever you cast your next instant sorcery, you can copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. It also flashes back. We have Gut Shot. Deals 1 damage to target creature or player. If you build your Storm count up high enough, this can also kill some people. Or it can wipe boards. High Tide, of course, we already talked about, adds additional. This is very important. This is symmetrical, not asymmetrical. So if you have an opponent with a bunch of blue, you are also giving them a whole bunch of reasons. Hydroblast does pretty much the same thing. Reb, counter target spell if it's red, or destroy permanent if it's red. We have Opt, Scry, draw a card. Pungify, blows up a creature, makes a 3/3 ape. Rapid Hybridization, blows up a thing, and makes a 3/3 frog. Prismari Command from the from the set goes choose 2. Prismari command deals 2 damage to any target, or you can draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. Target player creates a treasure token or destroy. This is really good because you will be able to choose 2 on each of the story copies. Pyretic Ritual adds mana. Seething Song adds mana, of course. Pyroblast is like Hydroblast, but for Pyro, it shoots blue. Reb also shoots blue stuff. Reverberate, copy an instant sorcery. You may choose new targets. So you can cast, say, your Brain Freeze, and then hold priority, and on the stack, copy your Brain Freeze. And then that would add another copy of it, and then Storm Count. Seething Song, again, a mana ritual. Swan Song, you counter a spell, they get a 2/2 burb. It's a specifically enchantment sorcery. Throw possibility. You discard a card, draw 2. Unexpected Windfall. Discard a card, draw 2, create 2 treasures. This helps generate, as you can see, generating mana in Big Storm. Some things that you could add in here to also win out, since we have so many rituals, is you could add things like OG Fireball, which lets you pay 1 more for each target beyond the first, and then you can deal X damage. Other things. For our artifacts, we do have 12 in here, and they're in here for a specific reason. We have Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, Izzet Signet, Talisman of Creativity, Soul Ring, Ruby, and Sapphire Medallions. Those are all in here as mana rocks. Yes, I'm counting medallions as mana rocks here. They'll help cheapen things. We gotta get our Prismari out there. And we have Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots because Prismari has to live. It costs 7. If he dies once, you're probably not getting him out again. We have Helm of Awakening. That makes all spells cost 1 less, and that's going to combo with Mystic Forge at Sensei's top. So Mystic Forge lets you look at the top card at any time. You can play an artifact spell or color spells from the top of your library, and then of course, if it's out there, top costs nothing. You flip your top to draw the top card of your library. You can play top for free off the top of your library. This lets you draw your deck and also builds your storm count to infinity and beyond to help you get your storm card going. Enchantments, we do have 2. Leyline of Anticipation lets you cast all your spells as though they flash, and 1,000-Year Storm. So this is like a backup to Prismari. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, copy it for each other instant sorcery spell you've cast this turn. You may choose new targets for the copy. Lands, I went a little bit more budgety. Reliquary Tower is in here due to the amount of cards that we are drawing, and unlike a lot of decks where it's fine to discard them, we really, really want to keep our cards in hand to build up our storm counts. We do have ourselves a bunch of basics with 17 islands, 13 mountains. We have Shivan Reef, Sulphur Falls, Cascade Bloods, etc. I know that there are some upgrades that you can make to this. Like you could definitely add cards that provide more flashback, such as Snapcaster Mage or Underworld Breach. Like I said, go the Fireball or Banefire route. You could probably put in even fewer creatures and different ways to generate mana into the deck. But this is what I went with, and this is a base for everyone to kind of make it their own. I will say this, I do believe that Prismari is a trap. It has a very strong ability, but costs 7. 7 is a lot, especially in red-blue, which, unless you have rituals, is hard to rank out. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, I am Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. What's up, everybody?